Hello to our freaky family. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Kandi.
And this is Sips of Crime. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you all are doing fantastic and have had a awesome week. I did want to quickly say that we do pre-record these. So just as we're still in the same spot that we were in our last episode. I just want to say that I hope that everybody in Florida is okay. We are here in North Carolina getting the remnants of Ian. It's supposed to come in, I think, around, Kandi said 6.
I think when I looked at it last, it was this afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's one reason we're getting together earlier, is so neither one of us are out and about.
Yeah. So this is actually going to come to you guys a little late, but for us, it is just now happening while we're recording. So we did just want to go ahead and, we are thinking about everybody in Florida and praying for you guys, for your safety and, just hoping that everybody's okay out there.
And anyone else that, this might cross paths with, because you never know where it's going to go. They can say they know, but you never know.
Yeah. So just know that we're, our hearts are with you guys. And we're hoping that everybody's okay. All of our Florida listeners and everybody in the path of Ian. So yes,
I have something for you.
You do.
Well, okay. So I couldn't try it and not share it when I got it. So my wonderful manager she went to Germany and Ireland and all these places, and she brought us back, like Austria, all that stuff. She brought us back a magnet and some candy. Now, me and Michelle are lovers of Ferrero Rochers.
It is our absolute favorite. Like, it is the only candy to have.
Yes.
It's a Ferrero Rocher. Have you had the dark? No, that's Godiva, isn't it? The dark chocolate?
No, they have a dark chocolate.
They
have a milk chocolate, and they have a coconut.
They have a coconut, yeah.
That is delicious.
Yeah, for Valentine's Day every year, my husband gets me the that big 24 pack assortment of the dark chocolate, the regular ones, and then the coconut ones, and I have them in a big jar sitting on my desk at home when I work from home when I need a little pick-me-up.
So,
but this one's legit from.
Yes, she got it there. It's not your regular, Ferrero Rocher. It's not the little piece of candy. I mean, no, you guys can't see it. So,
I'm going to do a little taste test for you guys.
We're going to open it.
Oh, it's not a log.
They're individuals.
Okay, that's
they're
perfect.
Little balls.
Okay, ready? Cheers.
Oh, smell it. It smells like coconut and hazelnut.
Oh, my gosh. 1, 2, 3.
It's like the inside, but just the inside.
Yeah. It's exactly like a Ferrero Rocher. Except it's not chocolate. Yeah, it's not coated in chocolate. Oh my gosh, those are so good. I don't think that we have any business to discuss. I will say, once again, we have a website now, so definitely go and check that out. There is a new form to submit your listener stories on there. And also, we decided that if you do submit your story, and we end up picking it and choosing it to read on the podcast, we will send you guys some stickers.
Yeah.
Everybody loves stickers. And so if we pick your story, we'll reach out to you. And you can submit them either through the form on our website, which is the preferred method, but we will take them through our Gmail account as well, which is sipsofcrime@gmail.com. Either way, but if we do choose your story and we read it on the podcast, I will reach out to you guys personally. The form on the website does require you enter an email address. So I will reach out to you personally, get your shipping address, and we'll send you some stickers for submitting your story. So send those in, any personal true crime stories or paranormal stories that you guys have. Also, I had a listener reach out to us about our old Salisbury Road shooting episode. So as you guys probably figured out if you've heard that one already, it is a local case for us. And, obviously some of our listeners are local as well. And she actually knew one of the victims. And she reached out to us. She actually knew Melinda, who was one of the victims. And she said that Melinda was actually a wonderful pianist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and she said that she just wishes that we could have heard her play.
Oh.
So anytime, doing cases like this, especially local ones, one of the things that we try so hard to do is focus on the victims. I will say that sometimes, though, it's really hard to find information about them.
It is.
If somebody hadn't have reached out and told us, we would have never known that Melinda played the piano. And it really makes what we're doing, which is really just trying to bring awareness to these cases. It gives us more of a reason to keep doing it. So, we want to hear from you guys, even if it's just to quickly discuss something that you know about a case that we already did. Any information about the victims that you have, if you personally knew them or heard, about them, somebody that knew them. It makes what we do really special. And, to talk to her about, this personal connection that she had to the case that we did was really special. And so, just don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will talk to you guys on, our DMs on Instagram or Facebook Messenger. You can always send us an email. I will say that we won't accept listener tales on the Instagram just because it'll make it too confusing to try to differentiate between all of the different platforms. So please don't send in any listener stories through the DM on Instagram.
You can send suggestions.
Suggestions we will take on Instagram, absolutely. Also, it has been suggested that possibly if we ever start a Patreon, that we include a video recording. I told them that I didn't think I could talk Kandi into that. Because we normally look like trash when we record.
You know what?
What do you think? Will you do it?
Out of all the times that I say, oh my God, if y'all could see my face,
yes.
Stuff like that.
That's exactly what they said.
Which we are talking about a Patreon. We can do some video on Patreon.
Yay, we did it, you guys.
We can do some videos on Patreon. Now, I'm not going to promise you I'm going to be, all dolled up and everything.
No, we have no intentions of dressing up for this.
No, y'all are going to see me in some leggings. It's getting cold.
I am currently in one of my big t-shirts. It actually says
my bachelorette.
Yes, your bachelorette t-shirt. Yep, and I'm currently wearing a shirt that says, I am outdoorsy. I drink wine on porches.
Yeah, I didn't want to
so you're going to get what you get if we do choose to do that. So
hair in a messy bun.
Yeah.
Raw stuff.
But yeah, so I just kind of want to let you guys know that we are, kind of talking and working back on the back end of things for a possible Patreon. We'll let you guys know if that ever comes up. But,
and like I will say right here that if we do, I will do a few videos. Now they're not all going to be videos.
It's documented. We have it on recording.
Not all going to be videos yet.
We have to give the listeners what they want, Kandi.
Agreed, and I'm fine. But you will have to become a Patreon to see that.
There you go. So yeah, like I said, definitely check out the website, submit your story there, send any information that you want to chat with us about to our Instagram. I have killed our Instagram feed, by the way.
What do you mean you've killed it?
I killed it. So whenever you scroll through Instagram, once you get past the content that your followers have put out there, it starts giving you suggestions, Mm-hmm. So I'll find myself scrolling, as our Sips of Crime Instagram. And after I get through all of the latest posts that I haven't seen yet from our followers or from people that we follow, all it is are animal videos. It's just constant videos.
So you've been looking up
of dogs. No, but I always look up palate cleansers or something that, something cute to make me happy. And it's the Instagram feed now knows that. And so once I get past all of our followers' content,
maybe it realizes look at all this murder and crazy
crime,
shit,
crazy stuff. Here's some cute dogs with a kitten or a duck with a goat, and it makes me extremely happy.
That's hilarious.
So, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking Dive Bar Tropical Moscato. It's a delicious wine beverage with natural flavors.
Wine beverage?
That's what it says.
That's what it says.
Yeah. I would just say wine.
Yeah, it's a delicious wine. You could have stopped there.
Dive Bar introduces itself with an upfront, rebellious attitude Come as you are, ready to be served. We never judge a book by its cover. Just as long as the story is good, sit down, pour a drink, and get to know this wine a little better. That's when you'll discover its bright, juicy side. These varieties have a sweetness that goes down so smooth, another delicious round is always imminent. One sip and you'll be a regular.
Woo!
How intense. It smells sweet.
So they closed my daughter's school today for the possible storm. And again, we are recording at my parents' house because my power was out. And my daughter is currently upstairs playing in her room that she has at her grandparents' house. So if you hear her singing in the background, that'd be her. Yeah, you're welcome. Cheers. Ooh.
That's really good. It's not as sweet as it smells.
No, it's not. That is interesting.
It is.
It's very citrus on the first part of the sip. And then as you, at the end, it's got almost like a caramel. Do you taste that? Like just at the end.
I don't know if it's caramel that I'm tasting, but I can see where you can see it's caramel. Did you take a sip of your coffee before?
No. That is extremely interesting. I have never had a Moscato like that before. And we've done a couple of, quote, tropical Moscatos on this page.
It's pretty good.
On this page, on this podcast.
It's very good. It's only 6.5%.
Well, it is also only 2:18 in the afternoon. So. Well, that's great. I love it. You have a story for me?
Yes, I do. So when we did our happy hour birthday episode, and I was trying to research, a crime that happened on my birthday, and I couldn't really find anything that happened on my birthday.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
But I stumbled upon Ed Gein.
Ooh.
He came up because his death was July 26th, 1984. Mm-hmm. So July 26th. And, of course, my nosy butt went up to go read on this man, and he turns out to be the criminal, not the victim.
Oh.
And he is referred to as the Butcher of Plainfield. So with that being said, grab a glass.
Grab a friend.
And let's dive in. Edward Theodore Gein, which I'll point out is, people pronounce it Gein and Gein.
We're going with Gein.
We're going with Gein, because it's easier. He was born on August 27th, 1906, in La Crosse, Wisconsin. He was the second of two children to George and Augusta Gein. The older son, named Henry, was born in 1901, so just a few years older. Augusta was passionately religious and supposedly Lutheran. She preached to her sons about immortality of the world, the evil of drinking, and her belief that all women, but not herself, were naturally promiscuous and instruments of the devil.
She would not have liked us.
No, she wouldn't have. And it reminds me of, the water boy. She's like, she's the devil. The devil. Women are the devil. So when I was reading that, doing my research, I couldn't help but giggle because that's what it reminds me of.
Oh, Lord.
So she set aside time every afternoon to read from the Bible to them, usually selecting verses from the Old Testament and the book of Revelations concerning death, murder, and divine retribution. She hated her husband. He was an alcoholic who was unable to keep a job.
Oh.
Even though George had worked at various times as a carpenter, an insurance salesman, and a tanner, which I looked it up, because when I say tanner, what do you think of?
Tanning bed.
Yeah, okay. That was my,
I'm assuming that's not what he did for a
no,
living.
Absolutely not. A tanner, which is the process of treating skins and hides of animals to produce leather.
I've heard of that before.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know it was a tanner. Maybe I did, and I just didn't associate.
Didn't you? Okay, I might be getting this wrong, but isn't that where the saying came from whenever your grandmother used to say, I'm going to tan your hide?
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, that's what they said, right?
Yeah, because I tell my own kid that.
You do?
Sometimes, yeah, when he really, really stresses me, I'm like, I'm going to tan your hide.
Okay, yeah, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that to him like twice. Like, that's really when most of the time I'm going to bust your ass.
Yeah, my grandmother used to tell me that all the time.
I heard that all the time.
You best calm down out there, I won't tan your hide.
I didn't even think to...
It just came to me. I didn't know what it meant before that. So I just learned something. Thank you.
Well, I did too. Thank you. So, George did own a local grocery shop at one point, but he ended up selling the business and left the city with his family to live in isolation on a 155-acre farm in Plainfield.
At this point in our society, I can't really blame him.
No, but still. This became their permanent residence. Augusta, of course, took the advantage of the farm's isolation by turning away. She took advantage of the farm's isolation by turning away outsiders who could have any type of influence on her sons. Ed left the farm only to attend school, and outside of school, Ed spent most of his time doing chores on the farm. Ed was shy, and his classmates and teachers remembered him having strange mannerisms, such as random laughter, almost as if he was laughing at his own jokes. So here's Augusta.
Okay.
I tried to find pictures of George. I couldn't find one. So, here is their little farmhouse on the 155-acre secluded area. So, Ed unfortunately endured a difficult childhood. As mentioned, his father was an alcoholic, and his mother was verbally abusive towards him. I don't know how she could be verbally abusive when she spoke from the Bible.
I know. Come on. They all tend to...
Hopefully you guys caught the sarcasm. Augusta would punish him whenever he tried to make friends. And despite his poor social development, he did fairly well in school, mostly in reading. Nevertheless, Ed idolized his mother, and this concerned his older brother. Because he was, like she treats you like crap. Why do you idolize her? Well, in 1940... Ed's father, George, died of heart failure caused by the alcoholism, and he was only 66. Henry and Ed began doing odd jobs around the town to help cover living expenses. The brothers were considered reliable and honest residents of the community. They both worked as handymen, but Ed frequently babysat for the neighbors. He enjoyed babysitting since he seemed to relate to kids more than adults. Henry began dating a divorced mother of two and planned to move in with her, but Henry worried about his brother's attachment to their mother, and still often spoke unkind words about her around Ed, who, of course, didn't like it because, he idolized his mom. And he would respond with being hurt or shocked that Henry would speak
so poorly of her.
Yeah, because, she's great. One day on May 16th, 1944, Henry died in a mysterious circumstance.
Oh, no.
While him and Ed were burning away marsh vegetation on the property. During the fire, it started to get out of control and drew the attention of the local fire department. By the end of the day, when the fire had been extinguished and firefighters were gone, Ed reported his brother missing to the police. With lanterns and flashlight, a search party started looking for Henry, and although Ed was able to lead them directly to the body lying face down and clearly had been dead for some time, some articles say that he was burned, some say he wasn't, and they also said he died of heart failure. But despite the bruises that were on Henry's head, they were not reported till later on. Police dismissed the possibility of foul play, and the county coroner later officially listed asphyxiate. I can't even say that word.
Asphyxiate. Now I can't say it. Asphyxiation.
Yes, as the cause of death. Maybe we should drink more so we can talk better. The authorities accepted the accident theory, but no official investigation was conducted and an autopsy was not performed. Here's your very first look at Ed Gein. He's interesting looking.
Yeah.
Now Ed and his mother, Augusta, were all alone. Augusta had a paralyzing stroke shortly after Henry's death, and Ed devoted himself to taking care of her. Sometime in 1945, Ed recalls he and his mother visiting a man named Smith, who lived nearby, to purchase some straw. Ed stated that his mother witnessed Smith beating a dog, and a woman from inside the home came outside yelling for him to stop. But Smith beat the dog to death.
Oh, my God.
Augusta was extremely upset by this scene, but not because of the beating of the dog.
What?
So, you're upset And you just watched him beat this dog to death, but not because of the dog. It was because of the other woman. Augusta told Ed that the woman was not married to Smith, and she had no business being there, and angrily called her Smith's harlot.
Oh!
Now, what? It's none of her business.
Mm-mm.
Like,
yeah,
you don't know.
You don't know what's going on.
Well, she then had a second stroke, which quickly deteriorated her health. Ed's mother died on December 29th of 1945 at the age of 67, and this left him devastated. He felt absolutely alone in the world now. In the following years, Ed held on to the family farm and earned money from odd jobs. He boarded up the areas of the house that his mother had used most frequently, preserving them as something like a shrine.
Oh, that's creepy.
Right?
I don't like that at all.
This included the upstairs, the downstairs parlor, and the living room.
Good Lord, what was left? He boarded up the entire upstairs?
Like, apparently. But, I mean, the house does look...
It does look fairly large.
Right. So, he probably still had a good amount of room.
Just to block off an entire floor of your house, though. Good Lord.
Right. The rest of the house became increasingly neglected, while those rooms stayed untouched. Ed lived in a small room next to the kitchen, and around this time became interested in reading pulp magazines, adventure stories, and particularly those involving cannibals or Nazi killings.
Oh.
Ed continued to be a handyman and occasionally worked for the local road crew or the crop threshing crew. Sometime between 1946 and 1956, he sold 80 acres of that parcel of land that Henry had owned. Mm-hmm. So here is one reserved room. It's...
Yeah, pristine.
Yeah, it looks like he probably goes up there and cleans it. Mm-hmm. This was his bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
This was the kitchen.
That is disgusting.
Right? It's like hoarders.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it's definitely hoarders. Like
it's gross.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And it kills me though, because it's so clean there. Mm-hmm. And then...
Yeah, like you could tell that room had been taken care of.
Right. Like, there's nothing
just
in
preserved
there.
In time.
Ed later attracted the attention of police in 1957 when a hardware store owner named Bernice Warden went missing. A town resident had reportedly saw the store's hardware truck being driven out of the rear of the building around 9:30 a.m. A few customers had been in and out of the store throughout the day, and some residents believed that this was due to it being deer hunting season, which makes sense. Bernice's son, who was Deputy Frank Warden, had entered the store around 5 p.m. and found the store's cash register open and bloodstains on the floor. Frank told investigators that on the evening before his mother's disappearance, Ed had been in the store and that he was going to return in the morning for a gallon of antifreeze. A sales receipt for a gallon of antifreeze was the last receipt written by Bernice before she disappeared. That evening, Ed was arrested at the local grocery store, and the police searched his farm. Here they are, arresting him on his farm. When police visited Ed's home and began their search, they found Bernice's decapitated body in a shed. She was hung upside down by her legs with a crossbar at her ankles and ropes at her wrist. Her torso was gutted like a deer, and she had been fatally shot by a .22 caliber rifle, and the mutilations were made after her death.
Wow.
I'm not sharing all the images that I saw of this.
Mm-hmm. You guys can look it up if you want to see
it. You can go look it up. I definitely think if we were to post them on social media, it would get banned.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to put any of that.
It's
wow.
It's gross. I'm going to drink some wine because following examinations of his home, it showed a whole mess of things. And I'm going to list some of the things that were found.
Okay.
Whole human bone fragments. A wastebasket made of human skin.
Ugh.
Human skin covering several chair seats.
What?
Skulls on his bedpost. Female skulls, some with tops sawed off. Bowls made from human skulls.
Oh, God.
A corset made from a female torso, skinned from the shoulder to the waist. Leggings made from human leg skin. Mask made from the skin of a female's head. Mary Hogan's face mask in a paper bag. Mary Hogan's skull in a box. Bernice Warden's entire head in a burlap sack. Bernice Warden's heart in a plastic bag in front of Ed's potbelly stove. Potbelly stove is a cast iron coal-burning stove.
Mm-hmm.
9 vulvas in a shoebox.
Oh!
9 fucking vulvas. Who keeps a vulva?
He did. And it's disgusting.
Oh, it's not yet. A young girl's dress and the vulvas of 2 female judged to have been 15 years old. A belt made from human female nipples.
Oh, God.
4 noses. A pair of lips on a window shade drawstring. A lampshade made from the skin of a human face. Fingernails from female fingers. These items were photographed at the state crime lab and then decently disposed of, supposedly. Do you want to see them?
I don't know. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Here's the bowl.
That he ate out of.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
It's a skull.
Here's the belt made of nipples.
All of the nipples. Oh, God.
These are gloves made of human skin. Here is the mannequin of the torso. Here is the skin nailed to the chair. And somebody else's whole head. The whole head.
Oh, my gosh.
The whole head in the box.
He, made stuff out of these people. That's so disgusting.
When questioned, Ed told investigators that between 1947 and 1952, he made as many as 40 nightly visits to 3 local graveyards to exhume recently buried bodies.
Okay. I'm not saying that that's okay. But he didn't kill these people. He was grave robbing and taking their bodies.
Some of them.
Okay.
Most of them.
I don't even know why I commented on it. That's still extremely disturbing.
It is. But
at least they were already dead. Some of them.
Agreed. I see your thought process, but it's still gross.
I know.
It's still gross. So when he did this, he was in a daze-like state. On about 30 of those visits, he came out of the daze while in the cemetery and would leave empty-handed in the grave in good order. On the other trips, he dug up the graves of the recently buried middle-aged females that he thought resembled his mother and took the bodies home.
It's a mommy issue. It's always a mommy issue.
Where he tanned their skins to make his paraphernalia. Ed admitted to stealing from 9 graves and led investigators to their locations. So he remembered what graves.
Oh, but he was in a trance-like state, but he could remember. Okay.
How does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Where's the wine?
It's right here. Alan Womabowski. I'm sure that's not how you say his last name, but we're going with it.
A for effort.
Of the state crime lab he participated in opening 3 test graves identified by Ed. The caskets were inside wooden boxes. The top boards ran horizontal instead of vertical, and the tops of the boxes were about 2 feet below the surface in sandy soil. Ed would rob the graves soon after the funerals while the graves weren't completely done. Police were uncertain if Ed was able to single-handedly dig up these graves in a single evening, and 2 of the graves that were exhumed were found empty. There was a crowbar in place of the body in one of the graves, and then the other one, most of the body was gone. A 3rd grave he apparently failed to open, yet Ed had returned rings and some body parts to the grave. Or the graves. Soon after his mother's death is when all this started happening. He began to create a woman's suit.
Oh, gosh. He was trying to reconstruct his mother, wasn't he?
So, that he could, quote, he could become his mother to literally crawl into her skin, unquote.
Oh, gosh, that's sickening.
Ed denied having sex with the bodies he unearthed, stating they smelled too bad.
Yeah. What? Oh, my gracious. This is...
Oh, God.
I have found a demented side of you that I never knew before. Every single one of your stories is just like
so
the
rough.
worst of the worst.
They're rough. You're welcome.
Oh.
Well, so I look up, okay, I pick one from our list.
I know.
And I start looking into it, and I'm like...
I thought John Wayne Gacy was bad.
I was like, holy cow.
I have to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. So, here we are.
Here we are.
So, Ed denied having sex with the bodies he unearthed, stating they smelled too bad. During the crime lab interrogation, Ed also admitted to the shooting death of Mary Hogan, which they found. Mm-hmm. She was a tavern owner and operator who disappeared in 1954, but then later denied the memory of the details of her death. A 16-year-old youth whose parents were friends of Ed's and who attended ball games and movies with Ed, had reported that Ed kept shrunken heads in his house. Ed described these as relics from the Philippines and were sent by his cousin who had served on the islands during World War II. After investigation, police determined them to be human facial skins, carefully peeled from corpses and used by Ed as masks.
I have to wonder, like, what prompted him to rob some graves but kill others for it. Like, you have to wonder if they had some sort of a feature that he fixated on, like, that he needed to complete whatever he was doing. You know, like, this person had the perfect nose, you know? This person had, or maybe, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and he saw these features, and that's what prompted him to kill instead of, you know, being satisfied with the person that he found in one of the graves. Like, I just wonder if he was trying to get to a point to where he just had these perfect features and was building. Oh,
it could have been. I mean, that's very
well. It's just such a jump from robbing a grave to murder.
Oh, agreed.
So you have to think that there had to be some sort of underlying
Maybe he got tired
reason.
of digging up graves.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It does.
But I mean, killing somebody isn't easy either. I mean, wow. Okay.
Ed was also considered a suspect in several other unsolved cases in Wisconsin, including the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley, a babysitter in La Crosse, which is where he lived before they moved to the big old farm. Yeah. During questioning, a sheriff named Art Scaly reportedly assaulted Ed by banging his head and face into a brick wall. As a result, Ed's initial confession was ruled inadmissible, and the sheriff died of a heart failure at age 43 in 1968, which was before Ed's trial. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Many who knew Art said he was traumatized by the horror of Ed's crimes, and this, along with the fear of having to testify, caused his death. Okay, well, maybe you should
plausible story.
Threw his face into a brick wall, and maybe, whatever. November 21st, 1957, Ed was arraigned on one count of first-degree murder in Washoe County. It's probably not how you say that, but Washoe County, where he, of course, pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Ed was diagnosed with schizophrenia and found mentally incompetent, deeming him unfit for trial.
Wow.
He was sent to Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, which is now called Dodge Correctional Institute, a maximum security facility, and then later transferred to Mendota State Hospital in Madison, Wisconsin. In 1968, doctors determined that Ed was, quote, mentally able to confer with counsel and could participate in his own defense, unquote. Ed was put on trial on November 7th, 1968, and it lasted 1 week. A psychiatrist testified that Ed had told him that he did not know whether the killing of Bernice Worden was intentional or accidental. Ed told him that while he examined a gun in the hardware store, that the gun went off, killing Bernice. Ed testified that after trying to load the bullet into the rifle, it discharged. He said he had not aimed the rifle at Bernice and did not remember anything else happening that morning.
Okay, so he was arraigned in 1957?
Yeah, November of 1957.
And then in 1968, the doctors determined that he could...
Yep.
That's almost 10 years.
Yep, a psychiatrist testified. Yep.
Wow.
So,
So he was under...
Were the medications working? Or,
wow.
It makes you wonder.
That's a long time, I feel like.
I agree. And when it says, he did not remember anything else happening from that morning, was this one of his days, states that he talks about, you know, that he...
Not to mention 10 years had passed.
Right. Like how... And...
I mean, can you remember stuff that... specific things that happened 10 years ago? I understand that murder is not something small like that, but still, certain details.
Shitty things, yes. Yes, I do. There are things that do trigger memories or things that happened 10 years ago, but something has to trigger me to think about that. It's not that I just, go back and, oh, yeah, this happened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. No.
Interesting.
I haven't killed nobody, so I can't really...
Again, I understand that murder is no...
But if you're in a dazed-like state, you just magically remembered this dazed-like state, if that's the case, 10 years later.
That's what I guess I don't quite understand is how they, they keep going back and forth between, well, he's saying, he's not saying, it's been 10 years,
Does he have disassociation?
Is he disassociating? Is he in a daze?
Does he have multiple personalities?
Right, exactly.
All this stuff,
it's just a lot going on.
10 years later, you remember it, but you didn't remember it, and
it seems just so specific to have such an asphyxiation with your mother.
Agreed. And Henry was very concerned about it.
Yeah. Your brother's obviously worried about this, and now you're killing women in hopes of creating, ultimately...
Your mom.
Because
you want to step in her skin.
And,
It's not funny.
It's not funny, but it's just maddening
what
to think about.
You have to giggle about it in a way. So at the request of the defense, Ed's trial was held without a jury and with Judge Robert H. Golomer. He was found guilty on November 14th of killing Bernice Worden due to financial reasons. Or so that's what they say.
Where did that come from?
I'm not sure. Maybe he couldn't pay for the antifreeze. I don't know.
He had a receipt for it. He already paid for it.
That's what I thought. But who knows? I'm just trying to...
Good
I don't
Lord.
know. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Prosecutors only tried him for that one murder, and then he went on a second trial for the insanity, which I guess they could do because they didn't do the sanity part in the first trial, so that can't be double jeopardy or whatever that is. Where you can't go on trial for something and then be retried again for the same thing. I don't know.
Insanity, though?
Yeah, apparently the second trial was just for the sanity.
But that's...
For his...
To determine it? Because I thought we already determined he wasn't sane enough to be... But then we just determined that he was, which is how this all started.
That's what I'm saying. There's this big, huge back and forth that a lot of the articles had stated. And after the testimony by doctors, Golomer turned around and ruled Ed not guilty by reason of insanity, again, and ordered him committed to the Central State Hospital for the criminally insane. Golomer did write, quote, due to the prohibitive cost, Ed was tried for only one murder. That was of Miss Worden. He also admitted to killing Mary Hogan, unquote. So technically, it was two murders, and then everybody else was robbed of their grave. Ed's House of Horrors, an 195-acre property, was appraised at $4,700, which is equivalent to $44,000 as of 2021. Mm-hmm. His possessions were scheduled to be auctioned off on March 30th, 1958, but on early morning of March 20th, the house was destroyed by a fire. A fire marshal reported that a garbage fire had been set 75 feet from the house by a cleaning crew, who were given the task of disposing of things. The fire did not spread along the ground from the location of the bonfire to the house, so arson was suspected, but the cause of the fire was never determined. It's possible that the fire was not considered a matter of urgency because if you remember, the fire chief, Frank Warden, the son of Bernice, when Ed learned of the incident, he just shrugged and said, just as well.
Wow.
Here's the house. They were down and smoking.
Oh my gosh.
Ed's 1949 sedan, which he used to carry the bodies of his victims, was sold at a public auction for $760, which is equal to $7,100 as of 2021, to a carnival sideshow operator, Bunny Gibbons. Bunny then charged 25-cent admission for people to see it.
Oh my Lord.
It's small, but here's his vehicle.
Yeah.
Ed died on July 26, 1984 in Madison, Wisconsin at the Mendota Mental Health Institute of Respiratory Failure, which is secondary to lung cancer, and was 77 years old. Over the years, souvenir seekers took pieces from his gravestone until the stone itself was stolen in 2000.
How ironic.
Right? I was like, you got to be kidding me. It was recovered in 2001 near Seattle, Washington, and was placed in storage at the Washoe County Sheriff's Department. The grave is now an unmarked grave, but not unknown.
Because they can't.
Because he's buried in between his parents and his brother.
Well, people will just keep vandalizing it, though.
Right. So here's his gravestone.
Oh, wow. It's just his name?
Yep, that's it.
And the dates. That's it.
Yep. Ed inspired numerous books and movies, including, but not limited to, the 1960s movie Psycho. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
And The Silence of the Lambs.
No.
That freaky little family is Ed Gein.
Wow.
Which is funny because we were on Facebook, or I was on Facebook the other night, Wednesday night. And somebody had posted, because, everybody was talking about Jeffrey Dahmer and the Netflix movie that came out and everything.
Yeah, the documentary.
And, yes. And everybody's, oh
freaking
my God,
out about
I can't
it.
believe it. Like, come on, y'all. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Well, they're like, oh, God, if you're this upset about Jeffrey Dahmer, wait till you hear about Ed Gein. And I'm like, ha!
You're about to. Oh, wow. What a disturbing tale.
I'm so glad I can deliver these disturbing details for you guys.
Yeah, you did a great job, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is just something extremely disturbing about human body parts.
A nipple belt?
A nipple belt. Did he wear these things, or did he just make these things?
Didn't specify. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't freaking put it past him.
No, not at all. Oh, wow. To have all of those, well, to lighten the mood, because we really need something after that. Good Lord. I have found a compilation of some of the craziest news headlines from 2022.
Oh, God. So they're from this year.
You guys, some of these are hilarious. And I did not make these up. They are actual headlines, news articles, things like that. I am not going to go into detail about any of these stories. I'm just going to read the headline.
Okay.
Come up with what you will. Number 1 on the news, live on CNN. More sad news from the music company. Kanye West is found alive in his apartment earlier today. Puppy shoots Florida man, deputies say. A man who tried to shoot 7 puppies was shot himself when one of the dogs put its paw on the revolver's trigger.
That's what you get.
Florida man on drugs kills imaginary friend and turns himself in.
Stupid.
Wife bursts open husband's testicles by smashing them in their wedding photo album after she catches him cheating. That's her mugshot. She is smiling from ear to ear.
Look at what I did. Screw with me some more.
Boy, 10, steals parents' car to visit grandparents 68 miles away. Then tells the police he is a dwarf who has forgotten his license. Florida man kidnaps scientist to make his dog immortal. Can't blame you. Can't blame you, buddy. Hiker lost on mountain for 24 hours, did not answer rescue calls because he did not recognize the number.
Are you serious?
He probably thought it was for his car warranty extension.
I would have still answered it and be like, hey, can you please somebody help me? Oh my God.
Chicago teen sleeps with all 5 of his bully's moms to assert dominance. God. China may be using sea to hide its submarines.
You've got to be kidding me right now.
No, it's in the paper.
Where else you gonna put a submarine? This ain't, what is that movie? It's an action movie. They've got Triple X. You know, where they got that big old submarine thing that's got the missile on it.
I think that one of the Fast and Furiouses has a submarine in it.
It does. It does. And they're riding on the ice. Yes. Well, where do you, and the submarine is sitting in the water. Where do you think?
Drunk woman steals a ferry and yells, "I'm Jack Sparrow!"
Does she have a megabyte?
She had a little bit more than a megabyte. Hungry photographer deletes all photos and leaves after being denied food at wedding. Which, I am in the wedding business. Please feed your vendors. I'm sorry. I'm a wedding videographer. I will still give you and work on your wedding video, but please feed me. I'm at your wedding. I can't do anything while everybody else is eating. Nobody wants to be on video. Like, you don't want a wedding film of everybody, like, shoving food in their mouths. So we don't film during that time. Photographers don't take photos during that time. We eat when y'all eat. Please feed us.
I assumed that was just a thing. Like, you fed everyone there.
We expect a meal.
Like, I fed the people that we got.
You fed your bartender and
the bartender, the venue owner, everybody.
It is. I would say I have only been to I have only filmed 1 or 2 weddings where we did not get a meal. A lot of the times it happens during, like, whenever there's not a buffet, like when it's an actual sit-down served meal.
Oh, and you've got to choose whether you want chicken or fish or whatever.
I will say the 2 times that it did happen, it was an actual sit-down served meal. Mm-hmm. But I know some photographers and some videographers who it's in their contract that you sign.
Heck yeah.
That they eat.
I would put it in there too. I'm working with you all day.
Yes, and we're hungry.
The least you could do is feed me.
I mean, even if we packed a lunch, it would be bad by then, you know? I mean, could you imagine packing a bologna sandwich before you left for a wedding?
I ain't packing a bologna sandwich anyway. No matter what.
I'm just saying, for those of you who don't know, it is absolutely 100% custom.
Do you eat plain bologna sandwiches?
Well, no, I put cheese and mayonnaise on them.
But you eat just like cold bologna.
Yeah. I also eat it fried with eggs sometimes, but I make a bologna sandwich.
I only eat fried bologna.
Well, a pinky up for you.
That's not very pinky up at all. It's bologna and it's fried.
Everybody eats raw bologna.
I don't like raw bologna. That's gross.
Let us know if you eat your bologna raw, like out of the package on a sandwich with cheese and mayonnaise.
Good? If you take your fried bologna, put a little mustard on it and some grilled onions.
I don't like mustard. The fried onion sounds amazing, though.
Put some onions on it.
And some cheese.
Oh, yeah. Some cheese would be good.
That would be toast. So good. With some, and some butter.
Yeah.
Some butter on toast.
Some guacamole would be good on there.
You could put some guacamole on there, put an egg on there. Before you know it, you got like a banging BLT.
There's a breakfast place we go to when we're camping, and they have guacamole toast. Mm-hmm. And you get a piece of toast, and you get your egg however you want your egg. Usually I get mine runny, and sunny side up, whatever. And a big heaping spoon of freshly made guacamole.
Freshly made.
And it's chunky. And it's really good.
Anyway, my point is, please feed your vendors if you're getting married. We're working so hard, and, you know, we're going to sit down and eat whenever you do. Apparently this woman did not.
Well,
she was denied and left. Man spikes his goodbye cake at work with laxatives. Now is one of those times you want one of those videos with Kandi's expressions.
That's a shitty thing to do.
Cop shot in face by unarmed black man. I don't think we need to elaborate anymore on that.
Who got fired that day?
Quote from Stabbed Man. Quote, what are you going to do? Stab me? Question mark. All right, and here's our last one. Florida police, poor Florida, you guys. Florida police were called for a woman screaming, "Let me out!" It was a parrot.
I have heard a lot of things, though, actually, about parrots, like talking and people thinking, or police or, emergency people thinking that it's a situation when it's not, and it's just...
Yep, it's the parrot. This isn't part of my part of the articles that I was reading, but I did read a story a while back where a woman had called the police because she swore that somebody had broken into her house and was in her bathroom. Like, she was freaking out. Mm-hmm. Police show up. Her Roomba had locked itself in the bathroom.
That would be me.
All right, you guys. Well, that's all we have for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, again, please, everybody in Florida, we hope that you're safe. Also, go and check out our website at sipsofcrime.com. We will be recording a new intro here soon so that we don't have to keep reminding ourselves to say that.
Yes.
We hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we love you all. Bye.
Bye.
You can join our freaky little family both on Instagram and Facebook and find all of the featured photos from this episode
at Sips of Crime.
For a chance to have your story featured on one of our future episodes, send us a Gmail
to sipsofcrime@gmail.com.
And you can find all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we would really appreciate you giving us a 5-star review because it really helps other people find our podcasts and our episodes. Thanks for listening. Stay alive.